2009 marks the 400th anniversary of Henry Hudson's voyage of discovery on the river that bears his name. In this quadricentennial year, Columbia County focuses on the Hudson, the river that forms its western border. A few weeks into the quadricentennial year, CC Scoop was invited to cruise the river on the Coast Guard icebreaker Sturgeon Bay to witness how, on the frozen river, the Coast Guard keeps the shipping lane from New York City to Albany open for maritime commerce. We were on board at the invitation of Lieutenant Scott Ray, commanding officer of the Sturgeon Bay, who took the time to talk with us about the Coast Guard's role on the Hudson River.
I'm Lieutenant Scott Ray. I'm the commanding officer of Coast Guard Cutter Sturgeon Bay. We're a 140-foot ice-breaking tug. Our home port is Bayonne, New Jersey. There's 9 of the Coast Guard Cutter ice-breaking Bay-class cutters. 5 are on the Great Lakes, and 4 are here in the Northeast. The ship was built to break ice. It was built and launched and commissioned in 1988 on Governor's Island in New York. We shifted our home port to Bayonne about 12 years ago when they closed Governor's Island for the Coast Guard. Our main mission in the wintertime is to break ice from the Port of New York all the way to Albany, which is about 126 nautical miles of river. The Coast Guard breaks ice for 3 basic reasons. We break ice and run ships in the ice for search and rescue. A lot of times people do get stranded in the ice or do have problems in the ice, so search and rescue is a big part of our mission. We break ice to keep commerce moving as well, up and down the Hudson River. Anywhere from gasoline to jet fuel to bauxite to kerosene. Tug and barge traffic has to keep moving, and without the icebreakers, they can't keep on moving. The third thing is flood relief. In the springtime, when the snow melts and the ice begins to melt, the local areas can tend to have severe flooding. If we don't break the ice and relieve the ice and let it flow down the river, some of the lower lying areas along the river will flood and flood badly. So those are our 3 missions basically: search and rescue, keep commerce moving, and flood relief in the spring. This year particularly has been a more severe ice season than in years past. The last few years hasn't been much ice. So we're happy to be up here on the river breaking ice. Commerce isn't so thrilled to have the ice. But so far this year it's been great. We've kept commerce moving. There has not been any severe backups with or any cargo running late. So we're proving to be very useful this year, as we always are when there's lots of ice. When there's no ice on the river, the ship is also used for port security in the Port of New York, pollution response, search and rescue. We do law enforcement in the Port of New York as well. Since the Coast Guard right now is the only military in the Port of New York, we have a very big job at doing that. Another big part of our mission is public relations. The Coast Guard takes aboard a lot of civilians, a lot of different groups, organizations, schools, etc., out to show the Coast Guard, show them what the Coast Guard does, its missions. Like today, we're underway with several people from the community, showing them the ice breaking, showing them the ship, telling them about the Coast Guard and what we do, which goes a long way for us in keeping the Coast Guard in the spotlight. We're a little different than the other organizations where our mission is a daily mission. We're always working our mission within the public, within the Homeland Security Department, and keeping our coastline and all the miles of coastline that the United States has safe.
One of our fellow voyagers on the Sturgeon Bay was Coast Guard veteran Harold Tartell. He shared with us his experiences on the river as quartermaster on the icebreaker Manitou.
40 years ago, I served out here on the Coast Guard cutter Manitou, which was a 110-foot ice-breaking tug built in 1943. And today, 40 years later, I'm aboard the Coast Guard cutter Sturgeon Bay, which is a newer 140-foot Bay class icebreaking tug, which replaced the 110s like I was stationed aboard. And what a treat and what a difference. This vessel, compared to the one that I was on, is 2.5 times the horsepower. The one I was on had 1,000 horsepower. This one is around 2,500. And also the electronic gear that's aboard this vessel, it's like a space station here compared to what was on the Manitou. But basically, what we're doing out here is the same as we were doing 40 years ago, breaking ice to keep the river open for river commerce, oil barges to bring oil and gasoline. That's how our homes are heated. A lot of people don't realize the river commerce, the river traffic is very vital for heating oil to heat our homes and gasoline to run our cars, and these icebreaking vessels keep the river open for that purpose. And all of us enjoyed being up here because we were kind of away from the city, and it was more relaxed icebreaking up in the river. And there were 19 of us, and we were like a small knit family, which is basically the same on this vessel.
Winter on the river is fantastic, actually. These ships are built with lots of fuel, lots of water. My crew is 20 people, so we could be on the river for anywhere from a week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks if we have to. But it's very exciting. I like to be out in the cold. It's very refreshing. The wildlife is fabulous up here. We've seen anywhere from deer on the ice to fox on the ice. The bald eagles this year were phenomenal. We've got some great pictures of that. But it's just very nice to be up in the cold, to walk out on the bridge or out on the deck and get the cold air, and then to be able to go back in the ship and warm up and hear the ice crunching under the ship, and have a vessel behind us or ahead of us breaking ice and moving them along, knowing that we're doing something really good. I mean, billions of gallons of commerce moves in and out of the Port of New York every year, and a lot of that comes up the Hudson and in the wintertime. And so it's a huge satisfaction for us to be working up here and to be keeping that commerce moving for hundreds of thousands of people, for their gasoline, as we said, their diesel, their jet fuel, their kerosene.